I'm back. So, what we have today is, I got a stereo here that has a bit of a problem. One speaker is not working. This is a JVC MX J10, and the reason it's so quiet in here tonight is because I haven't turned on my light. It's not very bright in here though. I swear to God, this thing just makes so much noise. So as you can probably see, my bench is clear of clutter. Yes, I have a thing about knowing the time. And yes, this is my scope. I have a clock on my scope. I got the scope warmed up tonight because this may be one of those cases where we actually need to use a oscilloscope. But the scope is warmed up tonight because this is one of those cases that I may actually need to get into the circuitry and find out where I'm losing my audio signal. So a scope might be useful on this. So I'm going to start taking this thing apart and we're going to fix the problem with the right channel not working. And my work light's warming up now so that I'm able to see what I'm doing. So we'll begin by removing the screws in the back. I'll tell you, one of these days I'm going to take that light apart and fill the ballast up with some type of insulating foam or something, because it's annoying, it's loud, but it just gives me such good work light. Makes for good videos if I have good lighting. So once we've removed the screws, I'll remove the antenna as well. The cover should just lift off like that. We'll set that aside for the time being. So this is one of these all-in-one units, and it I believe it features a modular output IC on this thing. I haven't looked at one of these things in so long. Might be two output ICs on this. I have a feeling that there are two separate output ICs on here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do an inspection just to see if there's any solder connections that may be broken, because that's a real common problem, is solder connections break on these output ICs because of the heat they generate. So we're just going to take a little closer look at this and see if that might be the issue on this one. So these are my output ICs, and looking at this with a magnifying glass, it looks like some of these connections in here may be in fact bad. So what I'm going to do is I'll hook up the speakers and I'm going to just turn it on. I'm just going to kind of tap the board a bit here, see if my right channel will come back, because I'm thinking we may just have a loose solder connection. And that was a common problem on these units. Another problem with these things had was, well, these things have had a few problems over the years. The CD players, the lens gets covered in dust and they won't play CDs. But I was going to hook up the speakers so that we can take a listen here. We might not have to bring the scope out after all, but it's warmed up just in case we need it. So we've got the unit hooked up to speakers. I hear sound out of this speaker here, no problem. I hear nothing out of the right speaker to the right. I don't know if you can hear that because this isn't stereo. But let's just see what happens if I tap the board here. Oh, hear that? I'll disconnect. It is a bad connection. And it's right down here. I'm going to disconnect the left speaker so we don't have any music playing at all. Now, and here's where the problem is on this. This is gonna be a lot quicker fix than I thought. I just have to touch and push against. See that? Oh, there, I just fixed it. We're gonna heat the soldering iron up. We're gonna resolder these ICs. This is the problem with these big power ICs that I think I went into this on my plasma TV rant about the likes of this, okay, with the big ICs. Yes, the plasma is still sitting there in pieces on my workbench. It's only been a few days since I did the other video, so to be fair, I'm not really in any rush to repair this set. This is another set that was given to me, and eventually I'm sure I will find the problem with it. I already know where the problem is. It's in here on the video board, I suspect. Either the video board or the control board. I don't think we have an IC problem on here, but hey, I could be wrong. I haven't really done a lot of troubleshooting on that one yet, but it's the same idea. When you put all of your eggs into one basket, so to speak, I'm going to shut that off because I don't want YouTube to get annoyed with me that the Rippingtons are playing in the background, and you know, I didn't give them credit, but there I did. It's the Rippingtons that were playing off the local radio station here. Anyway, yeah, when you put excuse me, all your eggs in one basket and you put these big power ICs in, they get hot. And when they get hot, they have a tendency to fracture the solder. So we're going to heat up the soldering iron and we're going to resolder all these things. Here we go. I've turned off that noisy light because I'm getting annoyed with it. Plus the fact that I'm standing right below it and it's only like 2 feet above my head. It throws off a lot of heat. I find when I'm sitting down at the other bench, which is a lot lower, I'm not so close to the bulb. So it's not quite so hot, but man, the thing's making me sweat here. It's like, it's only like 6 inches above my head and it's really, really warm. So I shut it off so we can see okay here. I got enough light on here. So we're gonna resolder this IC here, both of these ICs, because both of them have got connections that are cracked. I have unplugged the unit, by the way. I'm not gonna do this plugged in. So I'm just gonna resolder all these pins here, and I'm sure you'll be able to see what I'm doing. This one's the left channel IC that I'm doing first. And the connections actually are completely cracked all the way around. I'm using my magnifier light here, and I can see them clearly cracked all the way around. And this is just from the heat from these power ICs. So that's that one done. Now we'll do the right channel. So what we're doing is we're resoldering all these ICs here, these pins on this IC. These are all cracked. And I don't know if I can get the camera in close enough so that you can actually see. But take my word for it. You can probably see it there. If I use one of my dental picks to try and demonstrate, to show you the connections that are broken. If we look closely, we'll see right in here, these are all cracked. I can actually move the pin with my dental pick. The solder is all cracked around these connections. So we need to resolder these connections. See that one? You can even move that. See that? You see the cracks there around this pin? So what we need to do is we need to resolder those connections. I'm going to try and do this in a way that you can see what I'm doing here without getting my hands too much in the way. So now if we look down at the connections, I guess I'm out of focus again, aren't I? The problem with these cameras is they work pretty good, but if you zoom them in and you're a little too close, they go out of focus. But anyway, you get the idea. It's now resoldered. I'm just making sure that there are no bridges on here. Any bridge connections. This one here looks like it may be not hot. Here we go. Okay. It's resoldered. We'll connect our speakers up again. So there's our left speaker and our right speaker. We'll just reconnect our speakers. And we'll turn this thing on and watch it blow up. Okay, we got the plug plugged in. We're gonna turn it on here. My battery's almost shot on my camera, so this is good timing. Turn it on. Here we go. I have sound of both speakers. We'll turn that off before YouTube gets upset. We'll give credit to Stanley Clark where credit is due, though, because that sounds like Stanley Clark is playing. Okay, there you go. JVC MX j10 audio amplifier, one channel dead, broken solder connections on the audio amplifiers. This one doesn't have a problem with the CD player because I fixed that before. This is actually my own unit that I had given to me a while back, and the CD player didn't work, so I took it apart and fixed it. But I never bothered to film it. So there you go. All it needed was the dust needed to be blown out of the CD changer. But we'll test it just to make sure that it works. So I got a disc here. We'll just open it up. I guess I gotta press the eject button. It might help. We'll open up one of the trays here, and we'll put in this CD and select play, and it works. See, that sounds like a little bit like Daft Punk, doesn't it? Okay. Enough of that before the copyright guys get upset. That's my JVC CD changer and AM/FM system fixed. Another one fixed. Till next time, see ya. Be sure to hit your subscribe button, and we'll keep them coming. So there's the unit, all back together, ready to get put back into service. And for those wondering what generates the time display on my scope, it's actually a little circuit board. It's an AVR clock assembly. It's called a Oscilloscope clock. You can pick up the plans for them. The software is readily available on the internet. You can pick up the plans and buy them or build them, or you can actually get pre-made boards now that'll hook up to any XY input on any scope. It's kind of a neat conversation piece.